Hi, I just testified in front of Democrats on the House Judiciary and Senate Judiciary committees. That testimony is here. I am so sorry I had to run out. So many of you were so kind to me after I had a pre-existing commitment at CNN. But here is that testimony. The whole hearing is available on YouTube, and I think it's screening on C-SPAN later this evening. And I really hope that you watch it because things are bad, but there is hope. Thank you.
Ms. Cohen, your opening statement, and I should take a second of personal privilege over here in the Senate just to say that Ms. Cohen was very close friends with my son Tommy at Harvard Law School, and he always told me that you were a woman of great intelligence and great character. It's good to see you.
Thank you. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak to the members today. I acknowledge this is not the first Monday of unemployment that I anticipated, but I am appreciative to be here. On March 20th, I tendered my conditional resignation to Skadden Arps, where I was employed as a finance associate. I did so because I believe our country is teetering on the brink of authoritarianism, and that many leaders of our most prestigious and profitable law firms recognize this risk and choose to ignore it because they are afraid. It's likely they're afraid of losing profits, but I think it's also likely that these leaders are afraid because standing up to authoritarianism is scary. It is easier to ignore what is happening than to acknowledge the fight that lies ahead. I resigned amidst a series of attacks on the legal profession that began on February 25th when the Trump administration stripped large law firm Covington and Burling of government contracts for representing special counsel Jack Smith during his investigation of the president. Then, the president entered an executive order against law firm Perkins Coie, not only stripping Perkins of government contracts, but also targeting third-party contractors that retain Perkins as counsel. Again, the administration named Perkins's past representation of clients and causes the president dislikes as the cause. Perkins chose to fight back. It challenged this blatantly unconstitutional order and successfully won a temporary restraining order the next day. In a normal presidency, this sends a message to the administration: press pause while the Perkins executive order is litigated. But the president continued to enter executive orders targeting firms based on past representation. Enter Paul Weiss, the next target of an executive order. Instead of fighting back, Paul Weiss offered the Trump administration $40 million in pro bono legal services for pet projects and promised to evaluate hiring and retention practices in partnership with the president. He withdrew the order. Paul Weiss's decision was a stunning betrayal of the firm's associates and the legal system that made its partnership very, very rich. Like calling this hearing, resignation was not my first choice. Throughout this period, associates across the industry were engaged in measured advocacy internally and externally, hoping to get our firms to band together and stand up to the administration's attacks on the broader legal profession. Paul Weiss's capitulation made me realize firm leadership was not motivated to act collectively. I became certain my employer was not going to be brave, and so I resigned. I was heartbroken to be proven right 8 days later on March 28th, when Skadden promised the Trump administration $100 million in pro bono legal services despite no executive order being entered against them. Other associates resigned in protest, 2 of them publicly. They're sitting behind me, and I am so unbelievably grateful. We did so because our adversarial legal system only functions when parties have representation. Everyone deserves an advocate. That principle is invoked by law firm partners to justify high profit but distasteful representations. Everyone deserves an advocate. American justice is not sua sponte. Without skilled lawyers, meritorious lawsuits may never be brought in the first place. Public interest attorneys, themselves separately targeted by the administration, are now also scrambling to replace resources and attention these firms historically provide as they challenge unconstitutional actions and provide direct representation to clients in need. This is intentional. Courts are perhaps our last line of defense against authoritarianism. I was raised to advocate and to be aware of the racial, financial, and other privileges I hold that make it more likely that my voice will be heard in halls of power. I am the daughter of 2 government attorneys who both served their country in the United States Air Force. While in high school in Ohio, my best friend was one of the only Latina students in our graduating class and faced overt racism. And I remember following a particularly egregious incident when we went to the principal together, how my outrage was heard as much or more than hers. After studying political science at The Ohio State University, I spent 4 years teaching in Providence Public Schools, and my students, some of whom I know are watching right now, are brave and smart and bold, but there were many times where, despite the self-evidence of my students' brilliance, people did not believe it existed until a white native English speaker pointed it out. Acceptance to Harvard Law School and employment at Skadden made my already powerful voice even louder. The cowardice or apathy in some of these spaces at times caused disillusionment, but those dear to me, including your son, Congressman Raskin, made sure I remembered that just because such cowardice is common doesn't make it acceptable, and as you said, courage is a choice. I was asked here because my voice is loud, but I came here for the same reason I resigned. It is important for the very real people whose voices are not heard in the same way to have an advocate today and always. This advocacy cannot be defined by fear of future retribution. My students and non-white friends and colleagues deserve brave advocates. Mahmoud Khalil, Rumaiza Ozturk, Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, and Andre Jose Hernandez Romero deserve brave advocates. People seeking abortion care or birth control or gender-affirming care deserve brave advocates. And to be clear, everyone else, the law firm partners enabling this slide into autocracy, the voters who put Trump into office and are waiting and will wait forever for him to care about the difficulties that they face. Those of us in this room today, we all deserve brave advocates. The administration cannot pick and choose who gets representation. It cannot use executive power to scare lawyers out of advocacy. If we allow any president to dictate who deserves a lawyer, our legal system fails. Like firm leaders, I am afraid of where this intimidation campaign leads. But unlike most of them, I will not allow my fear to manifest as silence. I choose courage. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony, and I hope